Well, welcome to this talk, and I'm delighted to welcome back Vibeke Manniche from Denmark. Welcome, Vibeke. Thank you for returning.
Thank you very much for having me back, John.
So, Vibeke, as people probably know, you're a social medical researcher from Denmark, and you do a lot of quantitative analysis on these health-related matters. Now,
Yes.
today's topic is literally a matter of life and death. We want to be looking at the excess deaths in Denmark, the United Kingdom, Europe, excess deaths around the world, really. But before we do that, you and I did a little video last week on looking at variability in side effects, adverse reactions, from various Pfizer batches. Now, as you would expect, this has generated a lot of noise on social media. People are saying this is brilliant, which it is. other people are saying that it's terrible. But I'm not really interested so much in the trolls. What sort of professional peer-reviewed feedback have you been getting from medical researchers around the world?
Well, it actually keeps us busy because we get so many daily mails from peer scientists, and like just today, several congratulations and how important this work is and has been and still is, and people who want to cooperate with us, people who have similar data and have been thinking the same for a long time. So the main, I mean, of course, there's a little, but that is the ones being involved. We had some kind of harassment from the few people being involved in who actually maybe didn't look too much or proper enough into the safety signals from the Danish medical agency and so on, and Serum Institute. But apart from that, we have had very, very positive feedbacks. Literally, I think maybe out of 198 positives, and one or two, but nothing really, because I think what is important also when you have a study like this coming out, and it have had a huge reach on the social media platforms, and also we can see in almost 150,000 has been looking into the full text of the study, which is a lot for that kind of studies. And we have of course been very much, was there something, it's always when you kind of release something, was there something we forgot, or will other peers find something, and they haven't, which is literally just today we also had a conversation with someone, and it's nice both to see the very big support we get from all over the world, but also that it seems like it was spot on, so to speak. There hasn't been any flaws, there hasn't been anything people say, oh, and then you said, oh my god, we forgot that. That hasn't been the case, and so we get a lot of compliments, and it keeps us busy because we have to answer all the emails. We answer every email, every phone call people calls us, and all that, and we are very happy and very proud, and also very proud that we actually struggled to get it published and did the work, which has been an immense work, and so on. So from the peers, the main thing is a great big support, and many lovely mails we're receiving.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because that study was turned down by the 4 major medical journals in the world. They didn't even bother sending it for peer review. It was just rejected out of hand. But it's based on Danish government data. You finally did get it published in a peer-reviewed journal, and it was peer-reviewed. And now it's being peer-reviewed by the entire scientific community. And the vast majority of professional medical researchers around the world are saying, you know what, this is a good paper. This is showing something real about the world, because that's what science is, isn't it? That science is illuminating the nature of reality.
Exactly, and what I enjoy about these conversations or emails or communication is that the people, the writing are polite. If you go on the social media, sometimes it's like, as you said with the trolls, or you're stupid, no, you're even stupid, no, but you both stupid and ugly. People kind of get nasty. But these conversations are proper, questions, and we have a dialogue, and they wonder this and that. And I just love that kind of, communication, because it's respectful, and it's, open-minded, and it's all what you literally need from science. That is to be open-minded, that is to keep asking questions and keep being curious about, oh, how could that be. So I really enjoy all all these communications. But I must admit, it takes a lot of it's very time consuming, because as I said, and very much of many of these emails, we will go and have a discussion in between the three of us. Is that a point? What could be the answer? Could we have a cooperation? Which is just lovely, but it keeps us busy. But I'm happy, and I'm also happy that all the communication is polite. I'm fed up with, trolls. I'm fed up with having that. I keep saying, if you talk to me on social media, talk to me as if you met me in real life.
Yeah.
Be polite. It's okay, not to agree. That's what democracy is all about. But, talk politely to me. And I think we could learn a little more about that on social media. But, I'm very happy with all the response we're getting. And for the main part, apart from the one being involved themselves and part of the story, so to speak, it's very, very positive.
I was just sniggering at the start of your answer there, Vibeke, because if you look at social media, I've got every personality trait fairly you could imagine. I've got every physical disability you could imagine, some of which are true. Okay, don't look quite the way I'd like to look, but and of course I have completely evil motives, according to many people. So I'm like you. Once there's been a personal insult, the dialogue stops.
Exactly.
So people will slag me off one day and accuse me of all sorts of evil things, and then the next day they'll say, "Why do you never engage with critics on social media?" It's not true. I do engage with critics, but if people insult me personally, that's not debate of the science, and I just don't respond to those people. Exactly. So the people that I'm ignoring are those that are offensive.
Exactly,
and that's their problem.
And that's how it should be. Actually, I take a step further, because I block and I delete. There's no mercy.
Personal insults. Yeah.
Exactly. There's no mercy. I mean, we can discuss and we can have different opinions and maybe different knowledge for some odd reason now and then. But the minute someone says anything about me or my family,
Absolutely.
It's I block and I delete.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say, if we have that we talk to each other also on the social media as we do in real life, then we know for sure how we can keep, the right tone, how we can keep being polite, still disagree, but still being polite. So, but that's going back to with the scientists that I can see, and I love that all the, communication we're getting is in a proper tone, and, and it's polite and it's curious, and I just love it. And that's how it should be, really.
I agree completely. If you imagine that you walked up to someone and you're talking to them face to face, because I think the world is missing out here, because there's so much debate that could be had on social media, and all we need to do is do it politely. So disagree with me all you like, that's fine.
Exactly.
As long as we have this saying in England, play the ball, not the man. So
exactly.
You're playing. If you're playing football, you want to get the ball. You don't want to barge the guy out of the way.
No, exactly.
There are good scientists around the world, and they do have a perspective, and we are prepared to take them on, even if they disagree with us completely.
Exactly.
But the personal insults just make that completely impossible, and it's a pity. There could be this international dialectic of debate going on around the world, and we're just missing out on that.
And it's sad, because exactly we're missing out, and also a proper discussion and also a proper debate, because in the end the debate disappears, and and that's really quite a problem for democracy, because the minute we don't don't dare to have the debate, then democracy is over. So I think it's very sad, but I think we need to have a little bit of to learn people how to talk and debate. I really think that is the case.
And of course, I think you're quite tough, Vibeke, and I know I am. That the personal insults don't bother me too much. And to be quite honest, between you and me, the threats, I've had many physical threats.
Also physical threats, yeah.
I've had physical threats of violence, yeah. And again, okay, I'll die when it's my time to die. That doesn't concern me too much. But a lot of people it does. So there's a lot of really clever people out there whose contribution could be really significant, and yet they're intimidated.
Oh yeah.
by the environment. And I think that's a great loss to scientific progression. It really is quite sad that that's the case.
It's a disaster, really, and I know lots of colleagues which are so afraid of having, shit storms or whatever you call it, but on the social media, and the minute they get something, they kind of go into the psychiatric, department because they feel so threatened and they are so afraid, and they get into someone, really leave their jobs because of it, and it's a disaster because then they don't say anything and spin the same on the corona crisis. If you have been harassed, I have been harassed, and in many sorts, and of course that keeps other people away. That keeps other health personnel, scientists and so on away from the debate because they are afraid of just having a bit of what we have felt or what we have experienced in that time, and that's also what my concern, because I know that it frightens my colleagues whenever they see me being harassed or defamed and all that. They get frightened themselves, and if someone asks them, no, please not, no, I'm not gonna go, and it's a big attack on democracy, really.
And this really I agree, because this really matters, because we're not doing this for the academic titillation of this. No. The reason that we do this work, and it is quite hard work, and I know you've been working non-stop for the last 3 years. I don't know how you've kept it up, but the reason we do this is next day or next week or next month or next year, this is going to prevent human pain, suffering and death, and improve health. That's why we do it.
Exactly.
And for people to interfere with that process, or to exclude some people who are more sensitive from that process, is just inexcusable. This is a major loss to the development of the well-being of humanity.
A major loss, and as you said, what are your drive? That is exactly as you put it so perfectly. It's a hope to make a change. It's a hope for better lives, for less mortality, less morbidity. It's all that drive we're having. And I often think, well, if people, either disagree or if they, have something against it, why don't they do a proper work themselves? Some of the critics, I'm like, I really look forward to your peer-reviewed publication. Please go ahead. So it's like, it's so easy just to defame people. It's so easy to, say something rotten. And I think also rotten is, an infectious disease, really, because you can see if there's a bad thing, someone says something bad on a thread or some, on social media, very often someone else will start also, well, and it kind of, it's like an infectious disease, really, because it smittens and everyone else also start to use the same language, and and it just shouldn't be there. It's very sad. But it's a race. We would call that a race to the bottom. Exactly. It's sad. I
know. I don't think I've actually said this. I hope I've never said this. If I've said this to anyone, I apologise. But I often want to say, look, if you feel so strongly about it, make your own YouTube video on it.
Exactly. And
no
you've done
one's stopping you doing your own.
You're so good at. Exactly, and you're so good at what you're doing, and you should be proud of it. And as you said yourself, well, either they can just stop looking. That's one thing, it's a free world, and two, they can go and do the same, which hardly anyone can. So exactly, and that's also what I say. Well, it's a free world. If you don't want to be here, if you go ahead, be somewhere else, but don't harass the people around you, which they don't do in real life. And then you're back to, if you could just behave as you do in real life, I can go wherever I go, people will come and be polite and thank me or this and that. They will never come up and tells me this or that or be rude or anything. Maybe they disagree, but they're still polite, and that's how it should be also on social media.
Absolutely. Let's progress the debate in a sensible way. So Vibeke, I hadn't planned on saying all that, but given that we have, I think I'll just put that up as a separate video, because I think there's some really important points there.
Exactly. It's a good discussion, and I love having it, so please do.
Yeah, I'll do that. Anyway, getting back to what we were going to talk about, the really serious matter of the excess deaths.